The Midwest state rejected changes to the state's constitution in the first referendum on abortion rights since the Supreme Court overturned constitutional protections. Surrounding states, including Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma and Texas, all had trigger bans, and they came into effect shortly after Roe v. Wade was struck down, leaving Kansas a safe haven for abortion rights. A ban in Wyoming has been temporarily blocked by a judge, but is expected to come into effect soon. And Iowa is due to bring in a 6-week ban that was ruled unconstitutional in 2018. Natasha Ghanaim reports.
This time, the tears among pro-abortion rights advocates were of joy. Kansas voters provided their first victory since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned federal protections for abortions in June.
A coalition of voters across the political spectrum came together today and voted no. They voted no to protect their neighbors. They voted no on changing the Constitution and really, demonstrated our free state roots here in Kansas are alive and well.
Voters squashed a proposed amendment to the Kansas state constitution that would have overturned a 2019 decision declaring access to abortion is a fundamental right.
If abortion rights are protected here in Kansas, and again, Republican-leaning state, I think that indicates that there is a big, the states that have those trigger laws probably are out of step with what their electorate wants.
The Kansas decision will have a regional impact. The nearby states of Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri now have bans on abortion, which means women will have to travel elsewhere to get one. It is unclear what the next move will be for abortion opponents in Kansas.
We have to rein in the Supreme Court's imposing their opinion and making up a constitutional right to abortion in our Constitution, which isn't there.
Voters across America will continue to weigh in at the state ballot box. In the next few months, people in California, Kentucky, and Vermont will decide if women should have access to an abortion in their state. Natasha Ghanaim, Al Jazeera.
Mike Hanna is live for us at the White House. Two major developments on this issue. Mike, first of all, what can you tell us about Biden's new executive order?
Well, it's a follow-up to the executive order that he passed last month, and it's more of a directive than an order instructing the Secretary of Health to examine ways in which the rights of women can be protected when, in particular, they are crossing state lines to seek medical health, including abortion. But also, while signing this particular executive order, the president also introduced his task force, this meeting virtually for the first time. Now, this is a significant development, too, because it's bringing all branches of the Biden administration into exploring ways in which the rights that were afforded under Roe v. Wade can be restored on a federal basis. We heard from the Secretary of Health, from the Attorney General, from the Vice President. So certainly this is a multi-pronged approach in the Biden administration to examine ways in which these rights can be restored federally and ways in which to protect women while they are doing so.
And how important is this surprise result in Kansas?
Well, it was something of a surprise result given the conservative nature of that state, and also given the extent of the win. So this is significant because it signals that the whole issue of abortion and anti-abortion and pro-abortion is going to be a major factor in the midterm elections. Now, the Biden administration has been pointing to this. President Biden has said repeatedly that those who are upset at the Supreme Court striking down Roe v. Wade must go and express their discontent at the ballot box come the midterm elections. So this is going to be a significant factor in the midterm elections, given the result that we saw in Kansas, where in a largely conservative Republican state, you had a result such as this in favor of pro-choice. So this as well, it appears, has galvanized Democrats within the state as well to go and vote in this particular referendum. And that is a pattern that President Biden is hoping to see through the country as a whole. Democrats enraged by the Supreme Court decision, going to the polls in huge numbers, supported perhaps by some Republicans who are angered at that decision by the Supreme Court.